Well, it brings our whole democratic process into question. I mean, there have been many occasions in the chamber here in the Senedd where votes have been delayed for other reasons. And a vote of this magnitude, which is going to change society in Wales and affect so many people, not just those who are unvaccinated or those who are not prepared to download a vaccination pass off the NHS website for the simple reasons they don't want to give out their personal medical records. It brings into question our whole democratic process. Now, I spoke to some of the Welsh staffers on Tuesday. I was down in Cardiff at the protest, and many of them were telling me that that Gareth Davies, the MS for Clwyd, was trying to get through, but he had an IT issue. Now, how can a vote go through on a technical glitch? There are calls here in Wales. Many industries here are calling for the vote to happen again. They're asking for another vote, but under our statutes and under the standing orders of the Welsh Assembly here, it doesn't look very likely. So the question now is moving on from who's to blame. Was it the presiding officer for not letting him in, which she could have done? Now, apparently, she tried calling the member on her phone. She said that in the Senedd herself and couldn't get through because it was apparently said that he was on the phone to some of the staff members and the chief whip down there in Cardiff Bay. I mean, this is just a ridiculous situation that has led now to major changes in Wales. And for those of us who believe that vaccine passports are discriminatory, it was a dark day for democracy and a dark day for the people of Wales.
I can see that, absolutely. It's such a controversial topic anyway. You would like to think that the last thing that any government would want to do is have any more controversy surrounding it. Was it already well known which way this guy was going to vote? Had he already made that clear? Did he actually need to be in this meeting?
Well, he made it clear, certainly on social media from his Twitter account and to many people that emailed him, his constituents that have emailed him and said, you know, we want you to vote against this motion that was tabled. And so it was clear his intentions were to vote against this, which would have led to it being a deadlock, 28 to 28. And how it works here in Wales, Patrick and Mercy, is that when it goes to that, the presiding officer gets the cast-in vote, and she cannot vote in favour with the government, which means this vote would have been dead in the water and we wouldn't have seen the implementation of vaccine passports in certain settings and venues in Wales. Now, the tragedy here is this. As of Monday, this coming Monday, friends and family of mine who are unvaccinated or choose not to show their medical data will not be able to enter into parts of society. And it's purely discriminatory, in my personal opinion. And I think there should be some legal action. The Welsh Conservatives, they need to grow some spine because they're not appealing against this. They're not going to fight it, which to me seems ludicrous. I mean, I would call upon Andrew R.T. Davies, the leader of the Welsh Conservatives, to actually fight against this because it's undemocratic. And there are many people here in Wales that it will affect. Take the nightclub industry, for example. We had somebody on yesterday speaking about the impact that will have. They're not ready for this. They haven't got the staff in place. You imagine turning up to a nightclub and a bouncer wants to see your medical data. No, thank you. It's none of your business. And I think people are realising now that this is going to have a much wider impact, not just on our personal freedoms, whether it's ethically right or wrong, but more importantly, on entering into life and society that we're going to be discriminated against. Because, as I pointed out many times on the show before, this is not about having the vaccine. This is about showing your medical data to people to get entry into certain venues and places. And to me, it's completely wrong. And the Welsh Conservatives need to be held to account. It's easy to blame the presiding officer, and I have myself, but also there's blame on the Welsh Conservative side. I mean, they were silent. Gareth Davies gave a statement yesterday afternoon, and the presiding officer at the Senedd refused to read that statement out because it didn't get in on time. Now, I've read the statement, and basically he has said, well, I've already said to you, he had an IT issue. He was up in Manchester at the Conservative conference and couldn't get through. The other question there is, what on earth was he doing at the conference in Manchester when there was a vote of such magnitude here in Wales that would have wide impact into people's everyday lives in Wales? I mean, there are serious questions yet to be answered.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree more. I think it's a really, really concerning time, I think, in Wales at the moment, that you've got these vaccine passports that have essentially gone through on a technical glitch, on a technicality. And the fact is that if that hadn't have happened, it would not have gone through. So in Wales right now, there would not be people who can't enter into society. And I'm very, very concerned about that. But